And we are live. I got to tell you straight up, we're going to do an update on the victims of the Minneapolis Annunciation Church shooting, and I'm going to do my damnedest to get through this without crying. I've already been crying. I had to go wash my face, and just stick with me. We're going to do our best to get through this. We've got quite a bit to talk about, several stories to talk about today beyond that. So let's just jump right into it. Let's do it. Good morning, everybody. I hope your coffee's as good as mine. Hell, I hope it's better. Go get your tissues and fill up your cups. This is going to be rough. Whoa, boy. This is Harper Moisky and Fletcher Merkel. They're the two children that were killed in the Annunciation Church shooting. I don't even know what to say about that. I don't. I'll be honest with you. I don't. I've just been looking at this and reading about the victims, and it has just been heart-wrenching. This is Genevieve Bissek, 11 years old. She's in intensive care in critical condition. She was shot through the throat. And this is Sophia Fortis. She's 12. Sophia's mom works at the local hospital. She's a nurse. And she got word of the shooting and went into work. She had no idea it was her daughter's school. She's working triage when her daughter came in. Her daughter survived the surgery. She is also in critical but stable condition. I couldn't imagine what that was like. I just could not imagine what that was like. I mean, damn, I don't even know what to say. I don't even know what to say about that. Other than if you want to be generous and you want to help out, there are GoFundMe set up for the families, trying to cover funeral expenses, trying to cover health care expenses. There were 17 injured, 15 of them were children. So yeah, there's that. I didn't quite understand why the bots went so active on this. And boy, howdy, did they on social media. The bots just went insane. And as we find out more about the perpetrator, and I know per your request, and I'm not going to even say her name. Won't show you her picture, won't say her name. But I will tell you, there's been some red flags. One, that there were so many bots involved in this. I didn't quite understand why because bots aren't free, folks. They aren't free. Why so many? Why? And yeah, I totally understand now why, as more information has come up. And what I tell you, I don't understand is the media manipulation of this story. And what's being reported on this story, what the police are saying about this. Investigators say no red flags were raised before Minneapolis church shooter amassed an arsenal of guns. No, there were. I mean, the police had been called to his home twice for mental health checkups on him. So yeah, that's a red flag. Also, we found out that this person had a fixation with Hitler. Used to scare the shit out of her classmates. Talking about Hitler. Used to sit and mumble in Russian. And that's another thing I don't understand as far as media manipulation is concerned. Every story you read about this perpetrator, this murderer, they say that his diary was written in a Cyrillic alphabet. There is no language Cyrillic. It's an alphabet. It's like saying his diary was partially written in Latin alphabet. No, it was written in English and Russian. English and Russian. Koshmar is a word that appears in his diary over and over and over again. That's Russian for nightmare. It's not Cyrillic, it's Russian. Why aren't you telling people? Because his classmates are reporting that she used to sit and mumble in Russian and freak everybody out. Why not identify? I don't understand that. Why the misleading? Why tell people? Why word it that way? Why can't you just say that the threats being made were part of them were being written in Russian? I guess you just don't want us to look at the background of the person, because I'll tell you, this person had a very troubled background. I mean, there were red flags from the 7th grade. What is that, 12 years old? 7th grade, 12 years old? This person showed a fascination with Adam Lanza, the Sandy Hook murderer. How many times we did a show on who these shooters are? It's either the very beginning of the school year or the very end of the school year. They always have they tend to show a fascination with this kind of thing. Again, idealized Hitler, apparently left we're not allowed to see it because they pulled it down, but timed a release on YouTube of a screed, a racist screed attacking black people, Jewish people. And then it became really clear why the bots went so active. This person hated everyone, including herself, pardon me. Hated everyone, including herself. But she didn't become a murderer until she got involved with the homosexuals. She traveled to Las Vegas for a gun show where she met Brandon Herrera. Brandon Herrera is a Republican that ran for president that you never heard of because He's just a perennial Republican. He's a gun nutter. His platforms are always guns, guns, and more guns. And when this murderer, who was fucking nuts, got involved with these homosexuals, she became a murderer. She was always troubled, always insane. But when she started hanging out with right-wingers and the homosexuals and fetishizing Hitler, she started to hate herself because, that's what the right wing is. They hate transgender people, so she hated herself. And that's not speculation. She said that. She hated herself because she was transgender. This whole thing just the fact that the right wingers unleashed their bots on social media over this, instead of us just taking this tragedy and caring for the kids that have been injured and trying to help the children that were hurt, maybe try to prevent this from happening in the future, anything. No, they wanted to spend a fucking narrative. I had so many of those bots leave the same exact comment on, I didn't put a lot of posts out on this. I put one post and one video out about this that basically said, I'm going to wait to find out what's going on before I actually, because there was make statements, because there were so many people trying to put this person in a box. And I'm like, I'm not going to do that. I want to know what's going on. So many of the responses from the bots to that were, it was left-wing ideology and transgenderism that made her do this. No. But now I know why the bots were there, because she became a first-class homosexual is what she did. Wrote hateful shit about destroying Israel and everything all over her weapons. Had "Kill Donald Trump" written on one of her magazines. This person hated everybody. And now babies died. Like, when people hunt deer, bird, and do clay competitions where I live, none of them use AR-15s for any of it. Bump stocks or force reset triggers for effing what? For mass casualty events. That's it. I'm going to tell you, folks, amassing an arsenal should be, I agree with you. If your kid is an amosexual, gun nut, that's a red flag. If your kid ever mentions the name Adam Lanza in any other context other than they're telling you they're scared that a school shooting may happen at their school, that's a red flag. Idolizing people like Adam Lanza and researching school shootings is a red fucking flag. Look, I get it. You're a parent and you don't want to believe that your kid is capable of this, but you know what? Universally, every one of these people, their parents say that. Oh, I hate to think that there were red flags there that I could have caught. I just didn't think they were capable. Your kid idolizing Hitler is a red flag. Oregon wine lady, you shouldn't need to buy burial insurance for your school-age children. No kidding. William G. Atheist, FYI, Canada is the second most armed country in the world outside a war zone with sensible gun laws. They work. Folks, I just, I understand there's GoFundMe set up for these families, and they're struggling and they are hurting, and all they're seeing on social media is a focus on the murderer and hate and just, yeah. Let's focus on these babies. Let's focus on these babies. But that's what I've got for that. I'm not going to. Michael Walk says nobody needs an assault rifle, a bump stock, or an extended mag, or full auto for home defense when a pistol or a shotgun will do fine. Gun laws work. Sorry, I don't mean to get so mushy, but I've got a soft spot for kids. Let's move on and talk about something that's not this. Let me piss you off a little bit. See if I can snap you out of being so sad. Monica Meadows, when I first heard she was trans, my heart sunk for the children, and knowing that me being trans, I would have to get ready for hateful bigot. Yeah. That was, the bots desperately wanted to make that the narrative. This happened because she was trans. No, this happened because of you people and your amosexual bullshit. She wasn't a murderer. She was screwed up. She was crazy. But she wasn't a murderer until she became an amosexual with you people. Areola Owen. Forgive me. I'm a little bit choked up right now. What actions can we take now? This heartbroken and angry. None. You can't do shit. You can't do shit. The Republicans control the legislature. Let's just say it. Nothing's going to happen. Except for we're going to bury these kids, and then we're going to have to help these children that are going to be scarred for life, paralyzed, and hurt for life. That's what's going to happen. GoFundMe and thoughts and prayers. That's what's going to happen. Well, on another note, I've told you there's several reasons why the guard got called into DC, and it had nothing to do with crime. Yeah, it has nothing to do with crime. It had to do with the fact that there's little to no crime, and Trump wanted to take credit for that. He also wanted to distract from the fact that he's in the Epstein files, and people want the Epstein files released. They're trying to bury that. But here's another reason they called the guard into DC, and it's costing us $1 million a day. Thank you for the support, Jeanette. I really appreciate you being here. I appreciate the support. Dollar Sauce, thanks for the good info. Hey, that's my job. Do it full time. So yeah, watch this.
So here's the National Guard doing landscaping in McPherson Park in D.C.
Yeah. That's to the tune of more than $1 million a day. Last show, I showed you them picking up trash. Now they've got the guard doing landscaping. Why is the guard doing landscaping? Because Doge gutted the Park Service. Yeah. DC was looking like shit because Doge gutted the Park Service. These national parks, these big national parks, they're barely holding on by the skin of their teeth. They are barely holding on by the skin of their teeth. Now imagine Imagine you are a guardsman. You are a part of America's finest. They pull you out of your job. They take you away from your family. They're not going to give you a 31-day deployment so that you get full benefits. No. They're going to make sure they short your deployment so you don't get benefits. That's why they're rotating them out from several states. And they've got you picking up trash and gardening. Because they gutted the fucking Park Service. Because they gutted the Park Service. They've got you out gardening. To the tune of $1 million a day. It was never about the money. It was never about the budget. It was about destroying the federal government. Once you wrap your head around that, the fact that this president represents the Broligarchs, and the Broligarchs' mission is to destroy the federal government. You know, we talked about Grover Norquist before. The Broligarchs funded him. What do you think? Where do you think his money came from? You know, this guy was not working a regular job and this was a side gig. No, the Broligarchs funded Grover Norquist and his think tank. You know, the guy that said he wanted to shrink the federal government down to the size of a baby so he could drown it in a bathtub. Yeah, these people have healthy images about kids. Yeah, it's that. Spicy Jester, the lives of your children do not matter to Republicans. No, they do not. First day of school and an 8 and 10-year-old are now dead. They're dead. They're not coming back. If you vote for Trump or you didn't vote, you are part of the problem. Amen. Well said, sir. Well said. And thank you for supporting the show. It's insane what these people are doing. It is insane what these people are doing. The Trump regime doesn't give a shit about our military. They don't care about, they're destroying our government. They've got our people they called up National Guard units to pick up trash and do the gardening because they gutted the park services. ET, active duty, hates details, and guardsmen don't do details unless they are on garrison duty, which this is. Doge is getting into state of Florida local stuff. Yeah. Greetings from my day off in Greenville, North Carolina. We got a North Carolina story today, Richard. You're going to want to hang out for that. I can't wait to vote these. I can't wait to vote these clown grifter POSs out of office next year. Full dim ticket. It's no longer a two-party problem. It's a Republican problem. Amen, brother. Well said. And well said. Yeah, we got a story coming up in Surrey County, North Carolina. Stick with me. Stick with me. You're going to want to hear that. Speaking of Doge, judge released the two 15-year-olds that beat the shit out of big balls. And the right wing is having a absolute fit about it. All they're doing is raving and just flooding social media with the images of Edward Korstein with his bloody nose sitting on the ground because they're having a fit. They're claiming, oh my God, the judge has released them. DC isn't safe. More criminals. We need more guards there doing more gardening. Judge didn't release them. The judge didn't release them. What the judge did was he cut them loose to go to school, and then they have to stay in their house. It's house arrest. They go to school and go home. That's it. The judge has already notified them at the hearing and their lawyers that the judge has already tentatively scheduled an emergency hearing on a floating schedule so that if they do not just go from school to home, if they get any report that these children break their home detention, that judge is ready at a moment's notice to call an emergency hearing. All the lawyers are on notification. The paperwork's already filled out. They will revoke their home detention and they will go back into juvenile hall. No, they weren't cut loose. But all over social media, the right wingers are just whining their asses off, posting pictures of Corstein with his bloody nose because he got his ass whipped by a 15-year-old. Claiming that's it. DC's done. We got 2 major criminals on the loose. They're fucking disgusting, man. They're disgusting. They don't give a shit about the truth. They don't give a shit about if we have real information so we can make real decisions. You know, they don't care. They don't fucking care. All they want to do is just increase their power, and reality doesn't matter. Laws don't matter. The Constitution doesn't matter. Nothing matters. Just spin a narrative to scare the fuck out of these weak ass, worthless MAGA nutters that do nothing but try to look like victims all the damn time. Speaking of which, boy, I got another one for you. This is gonna set your hair on fire. We'll go to North Carolina for this one. William G. H. says, whose democracy is in greater danger, America's or Ukraine's? At least in Ukraine, the fighting's out in the open. It's not just a bunch of paid bots and shit like that. Miguel Arcentalis, thank you for being here. Pay attention to the color of the skin of the guards doing the garbage and gardening. Not an accident. Agent Caden is John. Thank you for being here, brother. Have to run out, pick up my new truck. Hey, did you buy that GM? Did you buy that GM? Email me some pictures of it, man. I'm a Chevy guy and I love the GMCs. I'll catch up with you later. Good. Congratulations on that new ride, brother. Congratulations on that new ride. Are we approaching the end of the union? Christopher Daly asks. No, not if I can do anything about it. Not if I can do anything about it. Folks, this happened. Let me introduce you to James Yokley. This is James Yokley, a good Christian man of God, being sworn in. He's the election supervisor in Surrey County, North Carolina. This is Surrey County, North Carolina. Go to the map. This is Surrey County, North Carolina. Give you an idea where we're talking about. You see North Carolina, it's up in the northwestern part of the state on the Virginia border. It's very rural. There are no major towns in Surrey County. No major cities in Surrey County. And it is very, very, very red. Very, very red. Over 75% voted for Trump. Why? Are we talking about James Yokley and Surrey County and all of that? Well, James Yokley got arrested. He got arrested. They're charging him with attempting to drug his grandkids with MDMA and cocaine. But that ain't it. That ain't it. Again, the news media is failing us. They are failing us. So let me ask you something. Why do you think that they're running as a headline that the story is that he tried spiking his grandkids' ice cream when he didn't? I mean, he put the drugs in the ice cream. He did that. See, this dumbass doesn't know that every restaurant you go to has cameras. This guy, James Yokley, took his grandkid, bought his grandkids Blizzards at Dairy Queen, and then took them from them and put MDMA and cocaine in them. Like you could see the pills. They were in pill form. Then he ran to a cop. Look, they tried to drug my grandkids. Look at this. Look at this. No, it ain't the wrong headline. It's not the truth, but it's not the wrong headline. That is the headline that is all over the media. Let me ask you something. This is a community show. Why do you think an old white Republican was trying to gin up a story? Because they've got him on video. He did this. He put those drugs in that ice cream and ran to a cop and claimed that Dairy Queen tried to drug his kids. Why do you think he did that? What do you think the motive is behind that? Skeet said the Republican Party is full of projectionists. The only truth they have is their racism. That is what I was thinking. That was my first thought. The people that worked at that Dairy Queen, were they black? I mean, I see a lot of you people had the same thought. But what is the Republican line right now? Everything has to be done because of drugs. Donald Trump's emergencies, where he's using all these emergency powers that he doesn't have because he doesn't give a fuck about the Constitution, is drugs. He's putting the tariffs on Canada because of drugs. And here we get a Republican head of elections sticking drugs in his grandkids' ice cream and then running to the cops. Look at this. Look at this. They tried to drug my grandkids' ice cream. Yeah, that's why I want to keep talking about this. Cami DeRosso asked a great question. Now, how did he get the drugs? How did the head of elections get his hands on cocaine and MDMA? Yeah, I don't know. David Sells. That's what I say. We can't let this story go. We can't because look, if he's willing to do this, let's say any narrative you can think of, if it's racism, he wanted to wrongly accuse some black folks, or if he was going to try to sue the Dairy Queen, or it doesn't matter what narrative you come up with. This guy is who's running the elections. Do you think he'll cheat? Do you think he'll cheat? Chase Tauscher. And Heather Honey, 2020 election denier, is our Deputy Assistant Secretary for Election Integrity. Yeah. These are the kind of people they're intentionally looking for. These are the kind of people, we did a story about Tina Peters. She's doing 9 years. Another election supervisor. Republican elections are doing 9 years for falsifying records, trying to blackmail people into ginning up the election was stolen story. Issued false credentials to a guy to come in and tamper with the voting machines. This is who Republicans are. Yeah, she still has no remorse. Sandy, still no remorse whatsoever. This is who they are. You think this guy would cheat on an election? Hell yes, he would. Hell yes, he would. How do you think it happens that people that are legal, have legally registered to vote, have not changed anything, not moved, not anything, show up to vote, and suddenly they're not registered? How do you think that happens? These people, this is who they are. We are not the same. We are not the same. This is who they are. Diamond Garage, these are the criminal Republicans getting put in positions of power and influence over elections. Yeah. Are there Democrat convicts? Of course there are. We're throwing Bob Menendez is in prison. Yeah, there are Democrat criminals, but we don't put them in charge of elections. That's what Republicans do. They want these low characters, low quality people. Hell, the president of the United States is trying to blackmail Colorado to release Tina Peters because he can't pardon her because it was state crimes. Jesus Christ, people. And we got this. We got news out of Gaza. Israel has come out today and declared all of Gaza City a combat zone. No one is safe. They don't take responsibility for who they kill. All of Gaza City is a combat zone. Why are they doing that? Because Bibi Netanyahu and Donald Trump are the same fucking person. Every time Donald Trump gets in trouble, he does something awful to try to distract. Awful. And what is Netanyahu trying to distract from? This war crime right here. This has blown up globally. People are losing their shit over this, as they should. This was a blatant war crime. If you don't know what they're talking about here, Israel bombed a hospital. That's a war crime. You can't do that. You can't bomb hospitals. They knowingly bombed a hospital, but that's not the worst part of it. That is not the worst part of it. Richard Lawton, need to supermajority these hateful bigot repugs out of power. Amen. That's what I'm talking about. Give the Democrats supermajorities. Then they waited over 7 minutes. Why did they wait after they bombed a hospital? They waited for the first responders to show up. You want to see what that looks like? I debated whether or not to show an actual video of it. But yeah, they literally waited for the first responders to show up.
people. The civil killed the people.
I don't want to hear this person rant. They waited 7 minutes, almost 8 minutes for these people to show up and try to start pulling people out of the rubble. I've got no association who put that video up. It was the first one that came up when I was looking did a search for the video. I am not tied to those people. It's literally the first one that comes up. You can find dozens of different ones that don't have any of that association with it. But yeah, that's what they did. And they did it on purpose. And they acknowledged that they did it on purpose. So the entire world is screaming, that is a war crime. You can't do that. That is a war crime. We have to do something about it. So Netanyahu said, okay, well, we got to distract from that. We got to change the narrative on that. We don't want the world talking about that obviously fucking horrific thing that they first tried to say was an accident. It was an accident. Then countries that have intelligence analyze the attack, and no, the shells came in the exact same, the munitions came in the exact same trajectory. You shot at the same place twice. So what does he do? Well, let me do something just like Trump with, let me put the guard in D.C. Everybody went, I don't care. Show me the Epstein files. Well, I'm going to give them guard guns. They're going to be armed while they do the gardening. Same shit. Netanyahu and fucking Trump are the same people. They do the exact same thing. The minute their ass is in a sling, let me go do something horrific. Something else horrific. Boomer Bish. Mr. Paul, you need a mug that says, and this happened. Yeah, no kidding, right? That's a good one. That's a good one. George Allen, thank you for always being here, sir. I appreciate you. Skeet Sayre, talk about the 5 journalists that were killed by a bomb strike. I did. I talked about it in a show 2 shows ago. I talked about it. They were journalists encamped outside of this hospital, same outside this hospital because it's safe. Right? It's a war crime to attack hospitals. So journalists set up a tent outside, and the Israelis bombed the hospital and wiped out Al Jazeera's entire news staff in Gaza in one attack. Netanyahu has to go. Netanyahu just has to go. But that's not all, folks. That's not all. Any of y'all know old Merle Haggard? Any of y'all know old Merle Haggard? This is an interactive show, folks. Y'all know Merle, right? What's Merle's number 1 song? What's his biggest hit? I'll give you a hint. It's from 1969. I'm just an... There it is. I knew y'all would know it. I knew y'all would know it. Not going to be a very popular song for a while. Those of y'all don't know, this is Muskogee. There's a town called Muskogee in the county of Muskogee. And here's Oklahoma City. Tulsa's just northwest. Muskogee's a little town. Now, I don't want you to confuse it with the Creek Nation, which is spelled with a C, not a K. Muskogee is spelled with a K. Why are we talking about Muskogee? Because an 11-year-old child from rural Muskogee County just gave birth. Which in and of itself would be just a what the fuck news story. But no, stepdad is the father. Yeah. The dad has been charged with felony sexual assault of a minor, and then six charges of child abuse, because there are 6 kids that live in that house, ages from 2 to 11, 11, 9, 7, 6, 4, and 2. And oh yeah, mom is pregnant. Mom is pregnant. These kids are going to need some fostering. They're going to need good homes to go to. So if anybody wants to adopt kids, Muskogee County Child Protective Services is who you want to contact. It's just, I hate to pause, but this is just tears me up. Just tears me up. These are the mom and dad. This is Dustin and Cherie Walker. And no, they can't go to grandma. They can't go to grandma. Grandma's all over the news, and anybody that'll listen saying, quit talking about my kids like they're a monster. My son-in-law is not a monster. I believe it was somebody else, even though DNA has proven that it was her son-in-law. And her daughter claims that she had no idea that her 11-year-old daughter was pregnant. Now, me and Mrs. Texas Paul have quite a few kids between us. I want to ask you, do you think there's any way in hell these parents didn't know their 11-year-old daughter was pregnant? Any way in hell they didn't know their 11-year-old daughter was pregnant? They refused. They didn't take her to the doctor. You can assume they didn't take her to the doctor because they didn't want anybody asking questions about how she got pregnant at 11 years old. Thank you, Ron. I appreciate you. Ask your MAGA friends, if you were a Russian agent that got elected as POTUS, what would you do to help Russia? It all makes sense if you look at it from that point of view. But yeah, this is Muskogee. This is all of Oklahoma. Not a single blue county in Oklahoma, not even in the cities. This is Muskogee County right here. It's just, this is who these people are. This is who, and this guy's MAGA. He's all Mr. Loves Trump. I tell you, folks, I can't do this shit anymore. I can't pretend these aren't bad people. They're fucking bad people. There's no way you can be one of these people knowing everything we know and not be a bad person. They're horrible people. But it just never stops. It never stops. And somebody mentioned this a little bit ago. I was watching the comments talking about Trump, and this is a meme that's gone viral over social media, and I am here for it. Trump and Ivana in Leningrad, which has now been renamed back in 1991 or 1992, they renamed it back to St. Petersburg. But at the time in 87, it was Leningrad. But yeah, now you know what inspired his Oval Office. That's why I told you, it looks like a Russian whorehouse. I mean, you know what these people are. They show us every day. They show us every day who they are. And then Trump just did this. And again, I've got to call out the corporate media over this one. Trump cancels Kamala Harris's Secret Service detail that was extended by undisclosed Biden order. What the fuck does that mean? It was extended by undisclosed Biden order. You think Joe Biden did a security assessment and just decided, hey, have an extra year of Secret Service protection? No. The Secret Service did a security threat assessment. And they said, you know what? She should probably have another year's protection, and we'll revisit it from there. But you should probably add a year. See, a vice president, there was a law passed back in 90, I think it was also 91. There was a law passed that said a president gets 10 years of Secret Service protection, vice president gets 6 months. Which means Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection would have ended in July of this year. The end of July. No. Because also in that law is we do security assessments. And the Secret Service said, no, the threats are insane. The threats are crazy. She's going to need the protection. She's going to need the protection. And Donald Trump said, screw you. Go die. Completely ignored the security assessments. Because I promise you, Donald Trump had no clue about when Kamala Harris's Secret Service protection ended. He had no clue. He doesn't understand that at all. Somebody briefed him on this. And when they briefed him on this, they explained why she still had Secret Service protection. And the Secret Service was vehement about this. This is from a Secret Service agent that just retired. He said, this was the hardest thing he's ever done in his 22 years was protecting Kamala Harris because the damn threats are so off the hook because of these racist, bigoted piece of shits, Hitler-loving MAGA sons of bitches. That's who these people are, folks. It's who they are. We are not the same. We are not the same. Trump kept his Secret Service protection the entire time, even though he was a miserable felon piece of shit. Because the threats are real. Hang in there. Hang in there. DJ Ghetto Redneck, lifelong Oklahoman here, such a joker. Hang in there. It doesn't have to stay that way. It didn't start that way. It's become what it is, which means it can unbecome what it is. Cecile Kazemi, doesn't the whole damn Trump family get Secret Service all the damn? Yeah. But, Trump's petty. He's a petty, shitty individual. And he's got to distract. He's got to distract from his failed economy. They just had new numbers came out that are being roundly rejected. Damon dog. He probably wants to see her. No doubt. You don't remove someone's Secret Service protection if you don't want them to die. Judith McDonald, are there any regulatory agencies left? Not really. No, because Howard Nutlick just put new numbers out. They revised the GDP numbers for the second quarter of last year. And did you know that we just had an amazing amount of growth? Bullshit. Everybody's rejecting it. Everybody is rejecting it. All of the people in the know and the experts are saying this is really simple. Part of that formula is they take how much is imported and they deduct it from the GDP because it's not considered our actual GDP because it wasn't manufactured here, it wasn't made here. So they clowned with that number, and the tariffs have killed imports. That's why your inflation is so crazy. They took the new import numbers and plugged them into the old GDP formula, which made it look like GDP grew like crazy. But no, it didn't. It didn't. It's a glitch in the formula. They're saying that GDP suddenly grew at 3.3% when we know all private purchase was at 1.9. Hell, the original number was bad. You just can't trust anything coming out of this government anymore. You can't trust what they say out of the DOJ. You can't trust what they say coming out of the Commerce Department. You can't trust what they say coming out of Health and Human Services. Oh my God. Robert Kennedy just put his lieutenant in charge of the CDC, who is just as much of a freak as he is. We are screwed, folks. Dying Breed Garage. Trump is pure garbage, period. Well said. Well said. It's just one thing after another. And folks, I'm telling you, other countries aren't having it. If you don't know what de minimis shipping is, Trump has just absolutely destroyed it. Absolutely destroyed it. There used to be an exemption, a tariff exemption for de minimis shipping. It's for small packages. It's for small packages. It's for things that, it's not like businesses ordering cargo containers full of goods. It's you ordered some, and I can give you a perfect example. Hold on. I'll give you a perfect example. You folks know that I've gotten into woodworking, right? I've gotten into woodworking. And yes, I keep my hand planes inside, and it's climate control. This is a hand plane. It's a Stanley hand plane. It's a Bailey number 5 called a jack plane. When I ordered it, me and Mrs. Texas Paul laugh about this all the time. When I ordered it, I didn't look where it was coming from. It's a Stanley, just assumed. The company that I ended up getting this from was in Australia. They shipped this thing from Australia. And yes, I keep it inside because if you leave it out and they're not climate controlled, it will corrode and it will warp. If you want to keep them true and you want to keep them in good functioning order, you've got to keep them in a climate controlled environment. Clean them and then bring them back inside. That package, I didn't have to pay a tariff on. I didn't have to pay, even though it came from Australia, I didn't have to pay any duties on. They shipped it to me. Same thing with you. You order from Amazon, you order from Temu, you order from wherever. Those packages don't meet we're exempted under the de minimis level. It's like $800. Anything below that was exempt from tariffs. They just eliminated that. just eliminated it completely. Anthony Saints, hey, Paul, I guess they don't have any financial people to do the number crushing. Crooks and liars. Vincent Saravo, almost certain Newsom's life was threatened in that famous phone call. This is what inspired him. You know, man, I wouldn't doubt it. $12V man 24. De minimis ending will make the true numbers worse. It absolutely will. It will. 97% of the packages that are shipped with our package handlers are involved in exempt from de minimis ship. They're coming from overseas. That's your Amazon packages, folks. Most of that stuff isn't coming from the United States. It's coming from overseas. Well, the world's not putting up with it. They're not putting up with it. They're like, look, this went both ways. We let your packages come in. You know, we had the same agreement, and now you're just going to unilaterally on your side say, oh, no, not anymore. Yeah, even gifts. David Siles, they're even gifts. Most of the shit you order online. Let me give you some idea what we're talking about. This is the map. Everything in red, their postal services have stopped accepting packages to be shipped to the United States. Every country you see on this map in red, it's Australia, Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Czechia, Denmark, Estonia, France, Germany, Greece, India, Italy, Japan, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Malta, Moldova, Montenegro, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Serbia, Singapore, Slovenia, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Taiwan, and Thailand have all stopped shipping packages to the United States of America. Yeah. That's insane. That is insane. These people have no idea what they're doing. None whatsoever. They have no clue what they are doing. None. None. They have no clue. Jeanette Dahl, thank you for being here. Love to see our Danish audience here. Our GDP here in Denmark was set to grow, but now it's falling because of all this Trump stuff. Yeah, it's everybody was doing well. Everybody was recovering, but the billionaire, bro, look, you know, Jeanette, you know why this is happening? It's not just Trump. It's not just American greed. It's your billionaires too. See, they want to do this to you too. And they want you just blaming Trump because it's a distraction from what's really happening. Yes, it's Trump's fault. Yes, it is. He's the dumbass that's doing what the oligarchs want. But Jeanette, it's your billionaires that want this to happen because it shifts their taxes onto you. It shifts their taxes onto you. That's happening here. That's happening in Denmark. That's happening everywhere. Everywhere. This is a global cabal by the oligarchs to get out of their taxes. It's just insane, people. It is insane. And can you imagine in any way, shape, or form our economy survives this? I mean, you're going to gut. You know, think about all the e-commerce. how much our economy has changed. You know, nobody goes to big box stores anymore. You order it online. Not anymore. Not anymore. Canadian Paul, America under this regime will be an island soon. It will if we don't get our shit wired straight and get Democrats in power in the midterms and hope to God give them super majorities where they can just override this administration. We're done. We are done. These people are insane crooks. Amy Poe, a felon, a rapist, a con man, and a pedo walk into a bar. Bartender says, "Hello, Mr. President. Drinking alone tonight?" Oh, man. Nailed it. Oregon wine lady, I worry because some of my meds come from India. Yeah, you should be worried. You should be worried. That package used to be exempt under the de minimis shipping regulations that used to be exempt. Now they won't ship it. You should be very, very worried. This affects you. This affects you. And until they repeal this, until he tacos out, these countries are just not shipping to us. The way it works is the company there will take your order. They'll take your money. They'll box everything up and put it in a package. And when they take it to their post office says, nope, can't take that. Going to the United States. And in the meantime, those companies are just saying, oh, it's just a delay in shipping. Oh, well, it's coming. It's coming. Promise you it's coming. But no, it's not. Not until Trump tacos out, it's not coming. I mean, it is insane. I'm going to read that list to you again. Think about all of the stuff. Like I said, my hand plane, I had no clue it was coming from Australia. Came from Australia, Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Cyprus. This is the updated list. That map wasn't even complete. That one I showed you where all the countries in red, it wasn't even complete. They've added more states. Every day, more countries do what the rest of the world is doing because this is the entire world acting against us over this. Every day, more countries get added to this list. This is the list as of today. Australia, Austria, Belgium, Bulgaria, Cyprus, Czechia, Denmark, Estonia, France, Germany, Greece, India, Italy, Japan, Latvia, Liechtenstein, Lithuania, Malta, Moldova, Montenegro, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Serbia, Singapore, Slovenia, South Korea, Spain, Sweden, Switzerland, Taiwan, and Thailand. Now imagine you're trying to run a business, because that's how a lot of these businesses work. They don't order shipping crates full of stuff. That's for the big corporations. They order parts. You know, it's insane, folks. It's insane. It is just insane. And these people have no clue. If you listen to the maggots, if you listen to them to MAGA, oh, Trump's great, man. Trump is great. Trump is great. They've got no clue. They've got no clue. That's why we have to be loud. That's why we have to talk about these things. Tell them, oh, Trump may be great, but you're not getting your medicine. What? What are you talking about? I get my med. No, you won't get your medicine. Not if you order it. Most of us order our shit from overseas now. It's crazy. It is just crazy. And yeah, This is the thing, man. They're talking about, oh, these numbers are great and business has never been better. I don't know about you, and I know this is anecdotal, but me and Mrs. Texas Paul, we were we lived by a town, and then we lived by a larger town. We went to the larger town. There was no wait at any restaurant at lunchtime, during the lunch rush, during the week, on a weekday. It was on Monday. There was no wait at any restaurant. All of the stores, they were empty. I mean, they were empty. The parking lots were empty. There was traffic on the road, but it's funny. We passed up 3 restaurants. Forgive me, Deborah Brown. Small businesses are failing by the wayside. Yes, exactly what I'm talking about here. We skipped 3 restaurants. We were talking about, that just where do you want to eat? I don't know. Where do you want to eat? What do you want to? I don't know. What kind of food sounds good? Well, let's try this restaurant. Let's try that restaurant. We're like, okay, we decided to go to a Vietnamese place because we both love the noodles. Both love noodle bowl and spring rolls. We pull up there. There's nobody in that restaurant. We were like, ooh, something may have happened. Something must have happened. This place is always packed at lunch. Well, let's, any of y'all ever been to that place, Freebirds? The burrito place? We were going to try that place because we've never tried it. It's one of those places where you either absolutely love it or you absolutely hate it. But people rave about it, so we'll give it a try. Well, we drive up the road, and there's nobody in the parking lot. Ooh, no, something must have happened there. Don't want to try that. We passed up 3 restaurants before we realized nobody had any traffic. None of the stores, none of the restaurants. It's like, there's traffic on the road, but these businesses are empty. It's insane. It's insane. It's insane that you've got these MAGA people that will still show up online, show up on your social media, and pretend like everything's okay. And look, this is a community show, folks. This is a community show. Am I being inaccurate here? Are you seeing similar things? Outrageous grocery prices. Outrageous prices on everything you try to buy. Everything. Prices are just out of control. But yet you've got our government putting numbers out to say, no, not happening. Really? You think I can't believe my own fucking eyes? When I'm at the store and I can see how much things cost now? You think I can't see? It's insane, folks. It's insane. Just insane. Somebody just posted the Dow's down. I want to check it real quick. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Yep. Dow falls after Fed releases inflation data. Got to go read that inflation report that got released today. High inflation means they're not going to cut those rates. And now the Dow's tumbling. Look, folks, I'm a Democrat. I'm not an independent. I'm a Democrat. And I'm telling you, we can't afford independence anymore. Fuck the Green Party. Fuck independence. No, you've got to be a Democrat. Get on board and let's push this. Going into the election, let's push this as hard as we can push this. You know, I mean, let me give you an example of something that's going on here. You know me, I've backed Mamdani from the beginning. I have. I've told you about my problems with him, but his policies are good. A lot of the shit that they say about him is just made up. They went back to college, when he was in college, and found a video of him saying some stupid shit. And they think that that's really going to sway people. But it's not, folks. It's not. The wind is at his back, and he's doing the smart thing. He's doing the smart thing. I told people this is what's coming. This is what's coming. It happens every election. It's the election pivot. Mamdani said, look, if I didn't say it, if it's not on my website, it's not my platform. That's not a big deal, right? That's what you expect. Because his opponent, Andrew Cuomo, and I said Andrew, I didn't say Mario, I said Andrew. Ha! Chalk went up for the big guy. Andrew Cuomo has been taking the Democratic Socialist website and saying, oh, look, this is Mamdani's policies. This is what he's going to do. No, he's not. Mamdani's a Democrat. Period. He's a Democrat. He has his policy. His policies are published. They are there. He's going into the election, which means he's going to pivot. He's going to moderate his message some. That happens every election. Folks, if you're new to politics and you're new to this game, in the primaries, they're going to pander to their base. They are. Their messaging is going to be very left or very right. If you're a Democrat, it's going to be very left. If you're a Republican, it's going to be very right. But as soon as the election comes around, that message goes gravitating more towards the center. And that's what Zohran Mamdani's doing. That's what he's doing. Don't cancel him for it. This is what I've been saying for months. Ever since he won the nomination, I said, okay, look, folks, this is what's going to happen. He's going to moderate now. Have his back. Don't cancel him. Have his back. And when he wins, and he's the mayor of New York, he's not going to get every one of his policies through. No politician does. That's a democracy. It's just the way it is. We can all say, hey, we want to do X, Y, and Z, but you can only get X and Y done. That's the reality of it. That's the reality of it. Z, you'll get blocked on. We can't cancel our people that are doing 90% of what we want because they didn't get to that last 10%. No, we have to keep fighting for that last 10%. That's our job. That's about being a ride or die Democrat. That's saying, okay, fine. You're in office. You're coming up for re-election. If you want me to re-elect you, I want to hear about that last 10%. And you keep fighting for what you believe in. You keep fighting for what you believe in, but you don't scuttle the ship because you didn't get perfection. Don't sacrifice good on the altar of perfection. You won't get it. No, listen to me. No leader is going to deliver 100% of what you want. None whatsoever. So let's get in line behind our people, support Mamdani in New York, support our candidates. Hell, we just saw, Caitlin Dray just flipped a blood red seat in Iowa. The wind is at our backs. The wind is at our backs. It's ours to lose. And by ours to lose, I mean nobody but us can cost us this victory. Nobody. Thank you, Julia. I appreciate you being here. I thank you for supporting the show. I'm very grateful. Can't do it without you folks. Cannot do it without you folks. But look, this is what I want to leave you with. You know, I was showing you the fun that the Gavin Newsom campaign's been having with the memes and and it just went off the hook. Everybody started making their own. And I showed you several of them. There's one more that came out that I just have to show you this because this one really draws attention. This one really, really, really draws attention to how insane it is that Donald Trump took an airplane. Folks, y'all are killing it with these. Y'all are killing it with these. I mean, think about the reaction that this is getting. I mean, it really has been spectacular what this campaign has been doing. And I love the fact that Gavin Newsom has been calling out the media for saying, well, you're being ridiculous. You're being childish. Oh, really? You didn't say that about Trump when he did it. I can't find the article where you said he was ridiculous and childish. Why do you call me ridiculous and childish for doing exactly what Trump is doing? And this is a perfect example of that. Could you imagine, even now that Trump has taken a free fucking plane, if Canada gave Gavin Newsom a 747, could you imagine the reaction that MAGA would have? It is insane. It is insane. Peter Campbell, always proud member of this community. Thanks for your commitment. I appreciate you always being here, Peter. I really do. I really do. Glenn Kaneko, thank you for always being here with your support. I'm very grateful. Yeah, this is what we've been fighting for, folks. This is what we've been fighting for. I could have sat on my back porch screaming the livelong day, but until you people came along and you started elevating this shit, the Democrats were stuck on that high road. They were stuck on that high road. And now look how successful we're being now that look, low road Democrats, baby. Low road Democrats. Look how successful we're being. We are now that we've stopped doing this stuff. Now that we've started fighting down there with the monster truck crowd. And I love J.B. Pritzker. I love J.B. Pritzker. Donald Trump called J.B. Pritzker fat. And J.B. Pritzker said, back at you, look in the mirror, baby. Ain't that the pot calling the kettle black? I'm loving it, man. I'm loving it. These guys are fighting it. J.B. Pritzker told Donald Trump, you hurt my people. Because Donald Trump's talking about, we're going to send the Guard into Chicago. J.B. Pritzker doesn't make idle threats. He doesn't. And J.B. Pritzker walked to a microphone in front of the national press and sent a message directly to Donald Trump. He said, Donald Trump, if you hurt my people, there is nothing that will stop me from holding you accountable. I am the governor of Illinois, and I have the means. And I was like, yes, yes, yes. That is what we need. That is what we need from our people. I'm telling you. Life is good, folks. If we just show our ass up, if we just participate, get involved with our local Democratic Party. I mean, do it, folks. Do it. Stop wearing that independent brand. I mean, everybody likes to be cute. I'm an independent. I just vote for the best person because you don't want to be held accountable for everything. I get it. I understand that. But you know what? Bandwagon effect is real. It is real. If you walk around telling people, I'm a Democrat, you will get people to follow you. Yeah, they will. Bandwagon effect is real. Ask anybody that works in advertising. They structure entire commercials for you to see based on bandwagon effect. Look at these people enjoying our product. Look at these people enjoying our product. You should be enjoying our product too. Canadian Paul, with an unqualified monster at the top, surrounded by this administration, America will fail horribly. Never count us out, brother. Never count us out. We're a bunch of mutts down here, and mutts are damn hard to get rid of. We're going to fight this out. We're going to take control. We're going to put America right back on the right track. That's what we're going to do. We're going to stop the stupidity. We're going to put this shit in the damn box it belongs in. You know, I just saw somebody put a comment saying he's calling out the Democrats. Mamdani is a Democrat. Mamdani is a Democrat. He's not on the ticket as a Democratic socialist. No, he is a Democrat. He ran in the Democratic Party primary to represent the Democrats. He is a Democrat. I don't understand this attempt to make this division. Again, it falls into that you're never going to get 100%. You're not. Hell, Joe Biden didn't get 100% of Democrats. Well, nobody ran around talking about the Democrats didn't support Joe Biden. Kamala Harris didn't get 100% of the Democrats. There was no story in the news that the Democratic Party didn't support Kamala Harris. Y'all need to stop that. That's what I'm talking about. Do not sacrifice the 90% because, Kirsten Gillibrand. For fuck's sake, Kirsten fucking Gillibrand. Come on. I mean, that woman is a walking screw up. BN, thank you for being here. Thank you for supporting the show. Well, that's what I have for you today, folks. I hope it's been useful. I hope it's excited you. I hope it's fired you up. I hope it's got you going. Let's do this, man. Let's do this. Let's take our country back, reinstall decency, show the world that Donald Trump is not America. No money, geez. So many online left-leaning creators claim they are independents. Many of us follow them. To me, that is a major problem keeping us Dems from coming together. It is. It is. It's stupidity. You're not an independent. You're a Democrat. I hope I made you mad in a good way, Deborah Murphy. I hope I made you mad in a good one. Because remember, nobody votes to say thank you. They vote to say fuck you. I appreciate you folks. That's what like I said, that's what I have for you today. Enjoy some Texas cities at night.